Today I'm going to talk about the Tesla Cybertruck. One of the most pathetic attempts at a pickup truck, in my opinion. And I'm going to tell you my reasons why I don't think that anybody should waste their money on a Tesla Cybertruck. Alright, starting with the exoskeleton. Now, the exoskeleton is made out of 30 times cold-rolled stainless steel. Now, this may sound okay. However, if you think about all of the downsides to having an exoskeleton, so this is more of a unibody, single-panel vehicle, all right? Which means insurance is going to be incredibly high, because if you damage any part of the truck, it's totaled. Because you can't put a new fender on it. You can't do any of that. You have to buy a whole new truck. You can't just buy a new body because it's all unibody. It's a whole one piece. All one piece. So insurance is going to be ridiculously high on these things, right? Then you also think about the safety rating. All right? If you are out driving and you get into a wreck, you're going to be plowing through vehicles, right? This is not even remotely okay. You're going to be plowing through vehicles. Minivans just get bent, and I mean, everybody would be dead except you. And then the fact that it can't like crumple as much as it would need to in order to dissipate energy. I mean, you'd be like thrown around like nothing else in there, right? And then also, I mean, well, people say it's a Tesla, it can't get into a wreck. Yeah, it can. You know what? Computers fail. Not everybody uses the computers. Not everybody likes the computers. It will fail. There will be getting into wrecks. You can find Teslas that are wrecked anywhere. You can. At any auction. You just can. And another safety aspect, if you will, is the glass. If they're going to make it unbreakable glass, right? Well, let's just start here. The price for a one-motor, rear-wheel drive Tesla Cybertruck, $39,900, base model, right? Base model. That means, I mean, that's basically what a lot of people pay for a truck anyway. And that you could get a pretty darn nicely optioned F-150 for that, right? So you're at the boat launch. I live in Michigan. As you can see, there's ice everywhere and whatnot. And let's just say it's a rather colder day and you're going to go launch your boat, right? If you don't have 4x4, you're going to be spinning the tires and you're going to slide right back into the lake. Okay, what do you do when you're in the lake? You drown. That's basically the end of that. You can't break the window to get out. The door is electric, and the suction's not going to allow you to open the door, so that's just not going to happen. You'd be dead at that point. You'd just be dead. Another thing is, well, here. Next, we have visibility. So pickups have a back window there, you know, that way you could see what's back there, right? Well, with the Cybertruck, you have a tonneau cover that comes off of the roof down into the tailgate. That covers up your window. You can't see anything. I don't care about your cameras. People don't like cameras. People would need mirrors. Which brings me to my next point. There are no side mirrors. I mean, sure, you could put a camera on the back of the trailer like Chevy advertises for with their invisible trailer, and then Ford and Ram have had that for years. But nobody wants to take the time to do that and calibrate it, right? Nobody. And you need to be able to see what you're doing. You need to be able to see what's on the side, blind spots, and whatnot, all of that. All of that. You need to be able to see that. If you can't see, you're going to have a lot of problems with that. Now, I have no idea why you'd want to buy an electric car. And I mean, if you're an environmentalist, I can understand that a little bit more. But what you really need to do is think about what's going on. You need to think about how they make the car and what is powering that car. So, an electric vehicle, they mine lithium out of the earth, right? They dig a big hole and then they get the lithium out and then they bury everything back up. That is significantly worse for the planet than an oil mine. It just is. Look that one up. You can fact check that. I don't care. It is significantly worse. Not to mention, you have to dispose of the batteries. Batteries aren't going to last forever, right? They're just not. And you have to dispose of those batteries. Where are you going to dispose of those batteries? No one knows. Electric cars haven't been around for that much long, or for that long. But even then, disposing of those batteries, that's going to be a huge problem for these things. If you really care about, if you're the tree hugger that really cares about the planet and whatnot, why would you buy an electric car? To me, that's hypocrisy. Note that you'd have to drive this Cybertruck for roughly 6 to 12 years on its original batteries in order for it to equal out on the environmental impact, or rather be more efficient, more environmentally friendly than a typical pickup. That's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. It's just not. The batteries aren't going to last that long. They just aren't. You can look at older Tesla Roadsters, older electric cars. They're probably not on their original batteries, or if they do, or if they are rather, they're not going to be operating very well. They're just not. And so you have to dispose of the battery, in which case it'd be way more environmentally friendly to be able to buy the 2021 F-150, which can, by the way, tow more than the all-wheel drive version, which is rated, I mean, it can tow more than that, right? They're not even competitors, which, I mean, that brings me to my next point. They're not even competitors. See, a half-ton pickup needs to fall into the GVWR range of 8,500 pounds or less, right? Which is the main reason why Ford switched to aluminum for the 2015 F-150 and then the 2017 Super Duty. They switched there because if they can make their truck lighter, like, okay, so you take the 2014 F-150, you shave 700 pounds off of it, you just gain significant, I mean, like 700 pounds of payload and towing without even doing anything. Without even doing anything to the suspension, to the frame, to the engine, to anything. Because the truck is lighter, right? And so when you make a truck heavier, right? So steel is heavy. Stainless steel is 5 to 6% heavier. And then not to mention it's even thicker, what they're using. So and then plus the weight of the batteries, all of that, this thing would be more considered a 1-ton pickup with a GVWR of 10,000 plus pounds, which means that its main competitors would be the Ford F350, F450, Ram 3500, and Chevy 3500 HD. What do those trucks have on the Cybertruck? Everything. Everything. You can plow with an F350, solid front axle, beefy frame, right? You can plow with it. Same thing with a Ram. I don't know that I'd plow with a Chevy, but, you know, same story. Everything. Towing. This proportionately, towing 14,000 pounds as a 1-ton pickup makes it the weakest modern pickup ever made. Ever made. It's more pathetic than the Toyota. Now, I mean, yeah, 14,000 pounds. An F-150 half-ton can tow more than that. And when, based off of what this shows now, all of the specs for the Cybertruck, you're going to need a CDL to be able to tow 14,000 pounds legally with the Cybertruck. That's just it. That's just it. A CDL. Or you could buy an F-150, which can tow more, and not need a CDL at all. You'd be far from it. You'd be more at like 18,000 pounds versus 26, 27. Somewhere around there. Anyway. You just can't push the limits very far. And therefore, they're not best in class with anything. They can say, oh, we're better than the F-150 at this, at speed and whatnot. Or actually, it was the 2018 or 19 F-150 that they were comparing it to. But the 2021 is even better. But still, with the weight, it's just not even feasible to be a half-ton truck. It's not legal. It just can't be. It can't be a half-ton. Because that's why all of the trucks are being made lighter. You know, like Chevy trashed the aluminum for so long and then realized, oh, that's a good idea. So then they started making their trucks out of plastic because they thought that was a better idea. It's cheaper, but not a better material by any means. And Ram just hasn't caught on. They figure if you could sell a truck with a screen, that's good enough. Yeah, no, it's not. But anyway, that is the biggest thing, along with the fact that as a 1-ton truck, you can't tow a fifth wheel, you can't tow a gooseneck, you can't tow anything with this truck. Just conventional, 14,000 pounds. Who would want this over an F-350? Who? The F-350 has been it's a very proven truck. You know, the 6-7 Power Stroke's been around for a while. Like, it's a very proven truck, and then you're gonna just try to replace it with some unibody, unipanel electric thing that has like a third of the capability ratings. Not really, but you know, well, somewhere around there. Anyway, a third of the capability ratings. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. I don't understand why they think that they're just gonna come right out and be right on top. I mean, you can't put a leer cap on that thing. You can't put a toolbox, like a crossbed toolbox. You can't tow gooseneck. And if you do try to put a gooseneck hitch in there, you total it by drilling a hole, because you can't fix that hole. With a Ford, you could put a new bed floor on it. Ram, you can weld up a piece of metal over the hole, and then, yeah. Chevy, you just get a whole new bed because it'll cost you $5 because it's all plastic. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. And I don't see anybody using these, because if its main competitor, or if its class competitors, rather, would be the Ford F-350, F-450, Ram 3500, it's screwed. It's screwed. Because, I mean, this thing could never be used near as hard as a 1-ton pickup could. Near as hard. By any means. I mean, you got people like Tyson of Workplay TV that, plows access roads to cell towers with an F-350, tows excavators, logs, hauls logs and whatnot. And then you got people of like Alex of Tow Piglet that are just like always running their F-350 Ram 3500s all day, all the time. You know, like, you can't replace... Well, I guess what I'm trying to say here is you can't compare your truck to something that's not a competitor. Nobody will be doing work with these trucks. Nobody. And with a $69,900 starting price for an all-wheel drive model, nobody's going to want one. I mean, I live in Michigan. You're not going to see very many of these. At all. If you see any, really. I mean, there are no Tesla dealers in Michigan. So that's plus side. But, I mean, I just can't imagine this truck would be in production for very long. It is a disgrace. It is a disgrace. I think California, if anybody who's wise with their money would rather have like an F-350 Lariat Ultimate, which is a class competitor, in a nicer truck, for less money. Like, or you can get like an F-150, like Lariat 502A or a King Ranch, for the same price, much nicer truck, and more environmentally friendly, will last, well, I can't really say that it'll last longer, because if you keep putting more batteries in a Tesla, it would probably last a lot longer. But you can work on it yourself, which saves you money there, right? You can't work on an electric car yourself. It's probably not a good idea. Unless you're a very skilled mechanic. So you save money there. If you buy like an F-150 5-liter, you can get parts for it easier. I mean, you can't really get parts for a Cybertruck because, I mean, you damage it, it's totaled. That's just the end of the story. So, in the end, better buy would easily be a Ford, a Chevy, or maybe even a Ram. I don't even know. But a Ford or a Chevy would easily be a better buy. Nobody who's good with money would buy one of these things. Nobody. Between the capability, the price, the safety aspect even, the environmental impact, if you're a tree hugger in California, you know, whatever, you're probably going to end up with one of these, even though if you really do your research and whatnot, it's not more environmentally friendly than a Ford pickup. Between the fact that it's the least capable truck ever, proportionately, I mean, the only thing it's good for is speed. Who's buying pickups for speed? That's my question. So I mean, nobody's buying pickups for speed. Nobody. And in that case, I just don't see how the Cybertruck will ever go anywhere. Not to mention the range. So, the range of the Cybertruck, the base model rear-wheel drive, one that you can buy for $40K, starting price, base model, $40K, right? 250 miles. That is awful. Let's see, I have about just over 3/4 of a tank left in this 5-liter, and it says 438 miles still empty. I'm getting 15.9 miles to the gallon, right? So that's just pathetic. And then you have the charge time, which is gonna take forever versus just sticking a nozzle in and then pulling it right back out. So there you have it. My thoughts on the Cybertruck. My thoughts on why you should never buy one. Do you think the same? Would you rather have a Cybertruck over an F-350? Let me know why. I would be really, really curious to hear that. Thank you for watching.